And it is now time for us to call in our political correspondent from Canberra, the much beloved Justin Lawman. Justin, welcome to you. Happy New Year. It's great to have you on board with us in this new season.
Yeah, Gay, Scaffy, Daniel, how are you both?
Yeah, good.
We're doing good, and I think that we're both doing way better than Nicolas Maduro, because I wouldn't be wanting to spend my New Year's in a prison cell. But can you tell us a little bit about what exactly happened, what's behind it, and does the Bible have anything to do with it?
I think there's a lot of things happening that are pushing us towards the ultimate fulfillment of Bible prophecy here. So if we just step back from this current thing for a minute.
Yeah.
Remember, November is the midterms of this year.
Wow, already.
So we're in that territory where Trump, if the Republicans lose the House, his presidency is going to be severely handicapped. So they're not gonna spare the horses in the first half of this year. They're going for it because he probably, if things don't go well for him, and politics is a funny thing, he'll be curtailed on doing whatever he wants to do. Yeah. He'll get impeached immediately.
Which happened in his first term, in his first presidency, haven't it? Like
Twice. Yeah, they've already practiced. They're going to go there. They're going to go there.
Wow, so there's a lot at stake here.
There's a lot at stake, and this is the big powerhouse at the end of time in Bible prophecy. The world's revolving around the United States. And here we are. And Trump has taken on, we're just stepping closer to our current thing here. Trump has taken on a doctrine called the Monroe hemispherical defense. So basically, he wants Greenland, and he wants all these South American countries that are all his neighbors to protect the homeland. And Venezuela was a hotbed. You know that just 3 hours before the attack, the Chinese delegation was in Venezuela posing for a photo. They were in the country. The second highest guy in China was in the country while the Americans took over the place. So there was a lot of power struggle going on leading up to this, and this is America exercising their superpower status.
And I think there's a lot of messages that the Trump administration is really sending to the rest of the world, particularly to China, Russia, and the countries that are aligned to it. But what do you think these messages are, Justin?
Their messages are that we are the big guys and we will run the show. And Trump has sort of run out of patience with trying to. America's been quite diplomatic, and even when they fight a war, they do so with one arm behind their back. I think those days have come to an end. I think if you're in Cuba, Colombia, and I can't say this on air, but I'm going to say it, Canada, you're worried today. And Greenland, your fate has been sealed. They are pushing forward with this doctrine of hemispherical defense. So they're pulling out of Europe to the degree that they have been in Europe. They'll still be there, but not to like they have. And they're coming to Australia. They're building up their forces in Australia. This is all shaping up for a showdown with China.
Wow.
Is my interpretation of it.
Wow. Well, there's definitely lots happening, lots going on. So what are some of the repercussions of that? So let's talk about what happened to Nicolas Maduro and what is the strategic, because there is definitely a narrative that the White House offered for, hey, why they are doing what they're doing. And but there's also a lot of people are saying, hey, what about the oil? Because Venezuela is like one of the richest place on earth in terms of oil and oil reserves. So some people are saying, hey, does it mean that the United States is just doing this for the oil reserves so that now they can control it? Well, how do we navigate that? There's a lot going on here.
Well, Trump himself says it's about the oil, which is it's a little refreshing because when they went into Iraq and all that, they distanced themselves from the petrodollar that they control. Not this time. He's been straight up and saying, yeah, we're going to get this oil back on the market, and it's going to get refined by American companies.
Wow.
When you think about that, Trump is like he's taken off the gloves. He's just showing his hand here. That's pretty incredible when you think that the way America will have to behave before Jesus returns. This is definitely a step closer towards that. See, the oil in Venezuela is heavy crude. Most of America's new oil that they have started refining is this shale oil, which is very light oil. Texas has been set up with their big refineries for heavy crude because that's what they were very strong in forever, Texas, and not so much now. So they can use this Venezuelan oil to go through American refineries. This is a powerhouse to the world economy because energy is always the thing that drives an economy.
Yeah.
And he has to win in November. And if the economy in the United States is no good in November, he will not hold the House and the Senate in the midterm. So he needs this to get the economy humming as well. And he's been very open about that.
So are we expecting to see a sharp reduction if everything goes according to plan? Are we expecting to see a big reduction of petrol prices, and then this is the thing, like everything has petrol prices including on them because everything needs to be transported by cars and trucks and airplanes and everything. So do you think that that's kind of the initial plan to really lower down the prices for the U.S. market?
100% it is, and if they can do that, if they can reduce the cost of energy, their economy will boom, and he needs that to happen. And he's got his tariffs, and he's trying to get manufacturing and jobs back to the U.S. If this doesn't come off for Trump, his political destiny ends. So there's a lot at stake. And this will not be, and I'm telling you now, if you listen to what he says, we don't have to guess. He's saying Cuba, Colombia, and he actually made the statement, and people might be missing this, that we have more drugs coming into the U.S. over the Canadian border. So don't be shocked, folks, if you see some stuff going on. Just keep calm. And we know that this is all going in the direction the Bible told us it would. The Bible never gets it wrong, guys.
So when what is the prediction like? What is the Bible passage that kind of jumps to your mind when you look at the geopolitics of the day? What is the verse that is being fulfilled in front of our eyes here that we should pay attention to?
In Revelation chapter 13, there are two beast powers. The beast that comes out of the sea, which is really the great state church of the Dark Ages that ruled the world. And then we have, as it goes into captivity, down in verse 9 and 10, there's a little riddle, and this new power comes up, this lamb-like beast, which ultimately, lamb-like is Christian. It arises out of the earth, an unpopulated place, the seas of peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. He comes out of the earth, and this is the arrival of the United States, identified in the 1860s in Bible prophecy by J.N. Andrews, and J.N. Andrews was on the money. This man had memorized the New Testament. He is a amazing scholar. He was the first to identify America in Bible prophecy. And as time has gone on, this is when Custer was defeated by the Sioux Nation. People didn't believe J.N. Andrews when he said America will be the last great power on earth. Well, they don't doubt you today. And America is the one that has all the power. It makes an image back to the first beast of Revelation 13, where the church and the state become the one thing. And we are living in that right now. Wow. And then there's a mark of the beast that follows that. So that's what I'm talking about when I say America's role. We don't know the nitty-gritties of Venezuela and Greenland and all those things, but we know the big picture of where this is going.
Yeah, there's a passage there that says, like, who is going to wage war, with that beast, with that end of times power, which now we identified as America. And I think that every time that we see America becoming bolder and bolder in the international scenario, particularly through the use of force, I think that question starts to reverberate. Like, who's going to stand up against them? Who's going to challenge their military power? And of course, the jury's out there. People say, yeah, China and Russia. But at the same time, one of the messages that I think that this move sent is, hey, if you're an ally of Russia, if you're an ally of China, guess what? Your friends cannot save you. If your friends cannot help you, if I decide to take you down, they're not going to do anything. Just sit and watch. And
China had sold anti-aircraft missile batteries, latest technology they have, to Venezuela. How did that go? China will not take on and win against the United States. They may take them on. The United States is a serious power when it comes to military. No one can really honestly think they can beat the United States.
Wow. That is quite something for us to keep an eye on. And in terms of China and Russia and Iran, which are all the big players that were buying the oil from Venezuela, what happens to them?
Well, this is what remains to be seen. We know that at the end, there's only one, and it's the lamb-like beast. It's the US. So I think Russia's a bit of a spent force. Their GDP is the same as Denmark. They're not really the big power. They've got a lot of nukes, but China is the manufacturing hub on planet Earth. And America and China are in a big struggle here, and that's playing out. And that affects us in Australia very much because of China's statements towards us. So we know America's going to win. How that happens, it's going to remain to be seen, but it's playing out in front of our eyes as we speak.
Absolutely.
Now, at the same time in the West, I listened to your program this morning. You're talking about church attendance being so high in Australia. Islam across the world, radical Islam, which is up to 20% of a billion Islamic followers, worshippers, that they're playing a real role in the West. We're seeing it in the US with the corruption that's been discovered in Minnesota. Apparently, that's far more widespread across other states. It's going to come out, which is affecting their domestic policy on immigration. Here we are, our own Prime Minister's going to succumb to a royal commission, it looks like. The media is indicating today that's leaking that Albanese will open up a royal commission.
Into Bondi.
Let's see what happens there. But what happened there is really waking up the average Aussie who cares about going camping on the weekend and going to the beach in summer, watching the footy in winter and the cricket. All of a sudden, the religion of Islam and its ideology is being compared to Christianity. And some of the statements I'm hearing from people that will identify as an atheist, how they want to stay Australia as a Christian country. We want Christmas. We don't want our Christmas trees burned down in public. And this tension between Islam and the West, I believe, is going to lead to a real revival of Christianity and people identifying as a Christian.
Reminds me, What are you going to say then?
Yeah, that is interesting. I think the West is a bit paralyzed with how to deal with Islam because the West is a bit turned off by Christianity, so it doesn't have a basis on which to critique Islam, but yet there's elements up there that are as as
That's changing in front of our faces.
Yeah.
It's almost overnight.
Yeah, right.
Okay, it reminds me a little bit of that notorious, famous atheist. Richard Dawkins.
Yeah.
Richard Dawkins,
Yeah,
in one
yeah.
of his interviews, he says, "Look, because he used
He's
to be
a cultural
very
Christian.
that's right. He used to be very much against religion and Christianity and rubbishing the Bible and everything. He softened up so much over the years that you could not even recognize the man. You think that it's a second person." But one of the things that he says, is that, you know what? I am more and more, I identify as a secular Christian, and I came to the conclusion that I don't really actually want a West without Christianity.
There is no West without a Christianity.
That's right. Because he says, look,
there is no West.
He says, because the alternative is so much worse and so much dangerous. And it goes against all of the values that we as a Western society shared. So he actually stopped criticizing Christianity so much. He says, you know what? I actually like the Judeo-Christian values to still be underpinning the philosophy, the minds that we have in the West, because when we get rid of them, look at North Korea, what happens? Look at, many countries in the Middle East, what happens? It really opened the pandemonium.
Yep. And that is played out. This shocking attack that happened at Bondi, and at the moment, it's all anti-Semitic, radical Islam, and we're not talking about all Muslims at all. Really, some wonderful. I have wonderful friends from Afghanistan and other places who are Islamic, but that radical component of Islam that really takes that Quran literally. They hate Christianity just as much as they do Judaism.
Yeah,
and that's not being acknowledged in the media.
Yeah, right.
That's not being acknowledged. And as more people look into this, as the media has now, they've lost control of the narrative because we're all getting alternative sources of media. That is you can see how this is playing out in front of our eyes very rapidly, that the West is going to all of a sudden run back towards Christianity.
Wow.
Yeah, interesting.
That's a very good insight. Justin, thank you so much for bringing the news and the updates from the geopolitics around the world. We're looking forward to have you again with us every Monday morning, 7:35 a.m.